Sony Z1 is quite possibly the best-selling camera Sony have ever produced, but it's been out for 3 years now. So what's new? This is the Z5. Think of it as the new, improved, refined Z1. Well, you're going to love this camera. Let's start with the lens. It's brand new. It's called a G lens. Sony have manufactured this themselves. And what's key here is you've got 3 rings. You've got your focus ring, you've got your zoom ring, and what's new here is you've got an aperture ring. So it makes it feel like a proper broadcast camera, but with a lot of familiarity if you're used to using a Z1 or even perhaps a PD-170. Something else about this lens which is new, it's got a 20 times zoom. Now the Z1 had a 12 times zoom, and this is wider on the widest point of the lens, so you've got a greater range of focal length available to you when you're filming. So what else are you going to love about this camera? Well, the sensor is new. It uses CMOS technology. Now CMOS technology is a great bit of technology. It's not for everyone, but let's start with the positives. CMOS allows you great low light performance. For example, this will work in 1/3 of the light that a Z1 needs to create a perfectly exposed picture. So if you're shooting indoors with natural light at night time, or you're shooting under street lights, this will deliver you greater performance. However, a slight word of warning, and this is true of all CMOS technology. In some situations where there's flash photography or strobing, you may get a little half frame of black that you'll have to cut out during your edit. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but it does happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's an inherent issue with CMOS technology. But for me, that small downside is far outweighed by the great picture performance, particularly in low light. Well, when you've got a great lens and a great sensor, you can need a great viewfinder or a great LCD screen. Now this camera, the eyepiece is just brilliant. Looking through it, you can't see any pixels. It's pin sharp. And with that, you've also got a new and improved LCD screen, the same screen that it shares with the Z7. So you're getting the benefits of those more expensive cameras in a much more cost-effective unit. So when it comes to focus and exposure, these 2 items here really give you a lot of control. So moving on to the back of the camera, we've got the tape mechanism, which is actually on the left-hand side of the camera as opposed to on the right previously. You get a free microphone when you buy the camera, so you don't need to buy an extra mic. Audio controls have moved from the rear of the camera to this point here. And Sony have put this little flap over the top which stops you knocking the switches while you're recording, or the little dials. Nice idea. You may remember that the Z1 had a kind of cine frame mode. It created a kind of progressive look. Well, this camera is much improved. It's a true progressive camera, and that means you can shoot film-like images, give that film effect. Worth bearing in mind though, this is a European camera. There are 2 models, a US version and a European version. The European version will do 50i and 25p, but for most people, that's going to be fine. And finally, if you want to, there's this option to use this hybrid recording device. Records onto compact flash and bolts straight onto the back of the camera. That will allow you to record onto tape and compact flash, or either, both in SD and in HD. A nice little add-on. And if you're wondering what this is here, this is the G-spot.